just took a deep dive into finding out how mead is used to keep healthy people healthy. And now let us see if there are any ways to use it as a treatment for some kind of an ailment. So, Dr. Poonam, I would like to ask you this question.
Madhavik is described as Rochana Deepanaha in Ayurveda. That is, it enhances the appetite, that is, acts as a good appetizer, and is thus used in many Kaphaja rogas, that is, diabetes, obesity. It has been described in Rajayakshma or tuberculosis also, wherein there is loss of appetite. So, it has been recommended to be consumed
To increase
to
the
increase the
appetite.
appetite. Also, it is used as gargles in many oral diseases. So that is another use which we can connect with mead.
And this Madhavik has, what is the alcohol percent in Madhavik?
Madhavik, I would suggest all alcoholic fermented preparations in Ayurveda describe 10 to 11% alcohol. There is no specification to Madhavik.
That is a fairly high percent alcohol for gargle. I mean, these days we have these betadine gargles which have 2% alcohol by volume in them, and this is more than 5 times that. So, really dramatic treatment courses using Madhavik and Madhvasa that are there. And all these remedies are really ancient. Is there any modern research that is done to sort of validate these old school remedies, these ancient remedies, to make them applicable in the kind of life that we now live? Because that is where there is a main lacuna in Ayurvedic research. I feel like all these solutions are applicable to life as we had then, thousands of years back. So, is there any modern research that is happening in pertaining to alcoholic fermentation?
Yeah, there are quite a few reviews which have been published that describe about Asavarishta formulations, these alcoholic formulations. There are many phytochemical constituent based papers, researches involving many of these formulations in Ayurveda like Draksharishta, Nimbarishta, Dhatryasav, Dashamularishta. Biochemical properties have been described, microbial investigations have been described in certain papers, standardization approaches have been described. But for mead to be specific, there is not much literature. Honey can be, yes, there are whole lot of papers based on honey and its benefits to the body. Its health benefits have been described in detail. There are many researches pertaining to that, but meat to be specific, they are yet to be.
But just because we touched upon all these reviews and all these standardizations and the effect that these medicines have on human body, how much of it, in your opinion, holds true to what was said all those thousands of years back? Is what was claimed and proclaimed at that time still valid with our current lifestyle? Are those things still valid? Are those claims and are those treatments still valid, or do we have to sort of upgrade them and edit them to suit our current lifestyle, our current physiology, our current biology?
If the diagnosis of patient, if you do the correct diagnosis, then the formulation recipes which are mentioned in Samhitas or Granthas, and if they are prepared in a right manner, they are 100% applicable in today's era also.
No, 100%. Wow. You're talking in absolution right now, like 100%. Oh, wow, that is really great. That brings us to our last question. You have shared the information so openly and so beautifully with a lot of anecdotes from your own personal experience with Ayurveda. But are there any specific anecdotes that you would like to share which are relevant to our topic of discussion at hand right now here?
Yes, few things I would like to share. Few things which I missed to mention about Madhya as a general. Ayurveda mentions that freshly prepared madhya, any kind of madhya, is not considered wholesome. So one should not consume freshly prepared madhya because it is tridosha kara. So it increases all the three doshas and it is very heavy to digest. So it is not recommended to consume. But Purana madhya, that is old alcohol, aged or right word is aged alcohol, is light to digest. It works as an appetizer, and whatever claims have been mentioned about its therapeutic efficacy, you can find that efficacy from that madhya. But it should be consumed, aged alcohol should be consumed. So it's very matching with the
European concept of wine consumption and everything. So, is there any research that is done that compares a freshly fermented alcohol and aged alcohol, and what is the difference in them?
Very sorry, but yeah, no research. Two more things. One is mead or madhya should be, it is mentioned that it should not be consumed empty stomach. So again, that is also matching with the concepts which are
Come from Western culture to
madhya
us.
should be consumed along with fat based, the snigdha word which is there in the
It's mentioned in all the Samhitas and all right.
it is mentioned in Sushrut Samhita, to be precise. Madhya should be consumed along with snigdha items, that is fat prominent items, and along with mausa varga, that is meat.
It helps in good digestion.
Yes.
So even if it has also been recommended in for digestion of meat consumption.
Yes.
So when you consume meat as a digestive to digest the meat,
Alcohol should
or a
be
mead,
consumed.
mead should
There
be,
is a term called anupana. Anupana is something which you drink after eating something solid. So anupana, after the drink which you consume after food. So interestingly, in Sushrut Samhita, you will find references of different asavas that should be consumed as anupana after having specific type of meat. If you consume chicken like that Vishkira word is used for that category of birds. So if you eat Vishkira type of meat, then you should consume specific asava after eating that. If you eat goat milk, then you should consume khadirasav as a goat meat.
goat meat. Yeah.
Then you should consume khadirasav as a anupan.
Heartwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
If you eat deer meat, mruga, that is, deer is called as mruga in Sanskrit. If you have that, then you should consume trifalasav. Something, even if you eat fish from river, then you should consume mrunalasav after eating fishes from river. If you consume fish from ocean or sea, you should consume matulungasav. That means these asavas help in digestion of
That specific type of meat. But yes, I mean, a lot of these treatments have come from observation, because the kind of analytical equipment that was available thousands of years back, even before advent of electricity, now we have a much more modern analytical instruments
Yes,
at our
yes,
hand,
yes.
and we can do a much more in-depth research of all these claims and bring some proper validation to it. So this is because they must have observed that after eating deer meat, if you drink khadirasav, it is digesting it better. But why it is doing so, that they don't know, that we don't know.
actually each of this point can be a research point.
Exactly. This has been, I think, as I said, one of the most exhilarating interviews that I have conducted, because when we started researching mead and when we started finding out so many words, so many mentions of the word madhu, which can be substituted for something intoxicating. Madhupana is consumption of intoxicating beverages. Madhushala is again a word where it's a local watering hole, you get alcohol for consumption over there. And on those lines, I also came across the word, so, and even the word madhu is used in Rigveda It is the word that is used is madhu, but the meaning that comes from that particular hymn, I am sorry, I can't recite it. But what it means is that particular hymn or that particular verse is talking about offering libations to Indra, and it mentions Soma, it mentions Sura, and it mentions Madhu. So it is logical to assume that the word Madhu is used not as honey but as mead.
Madhu word is used for Madhvika at some places.
Right.
So Madhu can be, yes,
Or it can
it's
mean
all about
fermented
reference
honey.
to contest. Yes.
Yes. So basically, so that is what led me toward this other word, and that is something that I want to end this interview with a little bit mystery. We solved a lot of mysteries right now, but let's end it with another mystery. So there is one more thing that typically in Indian culture that is done at the start of ceremonies, where people from different places gather to celebrate something. They are offered a mixture of honey and curd, and that is called Madhu Parka. But when I was researching mead and I was finding all these references to the word Madhu, I found out about Madhupan, I found out Madhushala, I found out Madhu Devata, who apparently is the goddess of intoxicating beverages according to Indian mythology. And then I found out about Madhu Parka, and then I found out about Madhu being mentioned as a alcoholic beverage in Rigveda. Then I thought, might Madhu Parka be a fermented mixture of honey and curd that is offered to people who are coming? It was just a thought, and I ran with it, and I did some research, online research that is, and I found out that there is this team of Swedish scientists who have done a research with modern equipment and analytical methods that are available to them. And they found out that a lacto-fermented mead, that is a mead that is made by fermenting honey with lactobacilli, which are a primary probiotic present in curd or buttermilk. They found out the secondary metabolites that are formed when such fermentation is carried out. It has a very strong antibiotic activity, and it provides resistance toward a lot of antibiotic resistant bacteria. So it builds your body's resistance towards stubborn infections. And sort of, while putting all these puzzle pieces together like we just did, I thought, might Madhu Parka also have come from there? Did people who are inviting guests mix honey and curd right then and there, or did they do it like 4 or 5 days before, let it ferment, let those secondary metabolite, the complex mixture form in that utensil, and when people from different places came with all their different indigenous bacteria present in them, so that they don't pass it on to others, they fed them this Madhu Parka, this mixture of fermented mixture of honey and curd. And that is what Madhu Parka actually was. Now, if only we had a time machine, we can go back and find out, but unfortunately we don't. But thanks to the team of Swedish scientists, there is some validation to this hypothesis. I would definitely like to find out more about Madhu Parka and its mention in Ayurveda. So I am just going to end this interview with, firstly, heartfelt thank you to both of you, gratitude.
Thank you.
And secondly, we will revisit this discussion, but at that time you have to tell me what Madhu Parka was.
Sure. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you very
you
much.
so much.
Thank you. We also enjoyed it
Enjoyed
a
it.
lot.
Thanks, guys. I know this has been the most exhaustive midweek Mead Geek episode yet, but I hope you enjoy it, and do leave your comments below.